there's a specific history to mentorship, and I know this from having co-taught 2 courses now that have mentorship in the title with Erla Haynes, who does research on mentorship. And the specific history comes out of the one-on-one context, and it was very male, of somebody guiding somebody else to develop and become more upwardly mobile in certain ways. And of course, that's now people tend to distinguish mentoring from coaching, and there are very specific definitions, but they also get fuzzy in different contexts. I think it's very good to have it in our name, because for me it is about guiding somebody's own development. For me, teaching is more about a preconceived content, even though it includes skill development and attitude development, but it's still a preconceived content that is more focused on a body of something that's preconceived, as opposed to what, even though we want to do it for what the learners bring to the room, to the space. Whereas mentorship, I think, is very much focused on the mentee or protege. And I think that's a significant difference. I would also say that, and so learning makes sense to have in our name, because that's something that faculty can get behind. But faculty tend to think, they don't think of teaching in the classroom as mentoring. They think of mentoring in the formal ways that it is set up with research mentoring. And so they don't understand, they need learning in our name to understand that they can be part of this, because mentorship doesn't work for their specific understandings. At least that's been my experience. You say mentorship and they're like, I don't mentor, I teach, right? Literally, that kind of distinction. The last thing I would say is that I think mentorship is good because, and Kris, I'm just going to say, I don't say train the trainer. I say educate the educator. I've had several people in DEI spaces, leaders, who say they hate the word training because you train animals and you educate humans. But I understand that it's also the norm. Like, I shouldn't say I never use it. I do use it sometimes because it is the norm in very much in our setting. But I like mentorship because it's so far removed from the idea of training, and training seems to be a very narrow kind of education that has a very specific result.
Yeah, maybe we just need to bring the actual word mentor and mentorship and mentoring into our discourse more. So maybe we should stop using the phrase train the trainer and say mentor the mentors, right? One of the ways that we haven't talked about how this is related to our mission is that we're really invested in building a more inclusive campus, and mentorship is a key driver of that change, because people of marginalized identities often have less access to mentorship. And even when they are mentored, if people that are in those mentorship roles are not culturally responsive, then they're not getting the experiences that are meant to support them in the mentorship experience that they would need, or that other people are getting. So being active in mentorship community practices and offering resources for people to develop as mentors, and being in that role of mentoring the mentors, as we talked about with Aletha, I think that's key to our mission, to create a space where everybody feels a sense of belonging, and people have opportunities and know about those and have the capacity to engage with those opportunities.
I like that, because I do think it's a way of drawing attention to more of our work and bringing more of it to the forefront.